President of Fox. I'm Senior Reporter with Phocuswire, and I am with Roberto da Re. He is CEO and founder of Travel Ledger. Thanks for joining us, Roberto.
Pleasure, Linda.
So you launched late 2021.
That's right.
As B2B payments for non-air in travel.
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
That's the area that we focus on.
Just briefly tell us about the growth story since that time.
Well, we were obviously very lucky that the launch happened on the back of an exclusive deal that we did with ABTA to basically migrate all their old platform and all their customers. So that allowed us to onboard about 350 companies in a 6 weeks period. And since then, we continue to grow. Now we have over 400 businesses, about 1,700 points of sale in the UK that use the platform. We just transacted £60 million last month, for settlement for a number of suppliers. And it's growing. We're starting to see that network effect, that the more buyers we have on board, the more suppliers want to come on board, and the more buyers want to come on board, and all of that.
So, how do you then achieve growth after growth? How are you going to scale? Because this has kind of hit you kind of almost all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, we're still scaling up by improving the processes, and also now the suppliers are actually taking us into Europe. So one of the announcements here at the show is the fact that we're going to be available in Europe in September.
Okay.
So Euro is coming on as an additional currency. And then towards the end of the year, we'll bring on board US dollars. So the suppliers that are already seeing the benefits of what we're doing in the UK market, they're now asking us to expand into other markets.
Yeah, because they must already be multinationals,
Absolutely.
who already have a presence. So.
Yeah, about 50%, in fact, are global companies. And as I said, some of them have been working very closely with us in the UK in this last 6 months. Obviously, they're happy with what we're doing, and now they're taking us into Europe.
And do you think you're going to have to sort of go out for funding? Because obviously, scaling up this quickly is an issue. You had some seed funding.
Yes, and in fact, we're in the middle of a Series A.
Okay,
we already actually raised more money than we thought from the existing shareholders. But we are now looking for more kind of institutional, slightly bigger companies that can come and invest.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, in the early days of Travel Ledger, you talked a lot about blockchain, and obviously there's potential there. It is growing, smart contracting, particularly on the B2B side. But how much of what you actually do is based on blockchain, or is even touching blockchain? Or?
Well, we were a little bit early in that space. So what we actually did, we prefer to focus more in this initial phase on the application itself and all the functionality and all of that. We are using some blockchain technology at the back end, but we're not distributing the network. We're not allowing other people to run nodes or anything like that at the moment, but it is part of our plan.
Yeah.
And in fact, after the summer, after we close the Series A, some of the funding is going to be used specifically to go back to that idea where we will start to involve other companies. And there are some other initiatives actually that are coming onto the market right now that we're looking at potentially also working with other companies as well.
Okay, because I've heard people talk that if your strategy had always been to sort of decentralize, but you couldn't get there given the way the market was, that actually it would still be relatively easy to go back to that plan.
Absolutely. We always kept it within the architecture that we built. And one of the benefits of the project for us, for me personally, is we started from scratch 3 years ago. So it's all the latest and cloud. It's all cloud native and all that. So for us to open up and start and run on a proper distributed network is actually not a big challenge or not a big change. It's more about getting the commercial model right. And also for us, it was a good learning experience, because now it's very clear to us what makes sense to be on a blockchain and what doesn't make sense to be on the blockchain. Now that we have the real life experience of, as I said, thousands of users already on the platform.
And as your story has developed, now you talk about not just payments, but you talk about this ecosystem. So just elaborate on that.
Yes. So obviously, so the network effect we're already starting to see, but now that we have all these companies, buyers and sellers on the platform, and we're seeing more and more data, so there's actually value in that network effect, on that data effect, and also as the companies are starting to develop a history of interaction with the platform, we're starting to see who's interacting more with it, who's faster in paying. You know, there's some key data points that we're starting to collect that are of real interest to the participants. And also now that we have a captive audience and we have all this financial data, there are a lot of other opportunities. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but
a potential new revenue stream for you.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, that ancillary revenue stream is key to our story going forward.
Okay. So what then would you say, just to sort of round up here, is you're going to be your greatest challenge going forward?
I think is, as always, adoption. Not just adoption in terms of connecting and signing up to the platform, because we actually have, a lot of companies that have signed up quickly, and adoption in itself, connectivity is very simple. We offer a file upload, APIs and all that, but is really the companies kind of adapting to changing slightly some of their workflows and all of that. We already know that, for example, that only a small fraction of the turnover of the businesses that are connected is now going through Travel Ledger. So we're working with both suppliers and buyers for them to get the most out of it, and then in itself is really growing the number of transactions. I said at the moment is really hockey stick, and there's more to come.
Okay, great, Roberto. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Linda.